when you know what pertains to his resurrection, you bask in the glory. For instance, in Matthew 27, in verse 50, when he gave up the ghost, the Bible said in verse 51, and behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain, from the top to the bottom. The veil of the temple. That veil that was rent in twain was the last blockade for what they call the Holy of Holies, where the Ark of the Covenant sits, where the rod of Aaron that buds, a rod that was never inside the ground, inside any soil or water, but the rod always brings flower. That buds. And only the priest could access that place. In fact, the priest, it is said that in the Old Testament, it is said that there are rituals that must be performed, sacrifices, that the priest must go through in a space of a time for him to access that Holy of Holies. And most time, they would tie a rope to the gown of the priest, apron of the priest. They would tie a rope to it and put dangling iron or bells to the rope. So when the priest entered the Holy of Holies and it did not come out, they will shake the rope outside, because the rope will be very long. They will shake it and allow it to stop. If they stop and the thing continue ringing, the priest is still alive. If it doesn't ring again, no sound, they will use that rope to drag him out. He has died. That means he's not fit to be in God's presence. He wasn't fit to stand in the presence of God, despite all the sacrifices, despite him being the priest of the Most High God. He wasn't fit. But when Jesus died, when he died and rose, I became fit to stand in his presence. You became fit to stand in his presence. You became fit. Access to his presence was not limited to any man again. It was free for all. The veil that was blocking the Holy of Holies was scattered. It was divided. And until you know him, you cannot engage that power. Daniel 11:32. They that do know their God, they shall be strong, they shall be powerful.